ประวัติศาสตร์ There will now be a moment of silence for prayer and meditation. Please take your seats.
Honourable Chair, good morning.
Honourable Member.
Deputy Speaker, Honourable Lord Street. I'm raised on a point of order that the benches of the ANC are empty. Can there be any explanation? Because this will adversely affect the quorum of this meeting. Can we get an explanation, please?
Thank you, Honourable Member. The only point of procedure there is the matter of a quorum. For the mini plenaries, we don't have the same quorums as we would have when a vote is taken in the House in a full plenary. So the matter of the ANC members not being here is a party matter. Thank you. The Secretary will now read the order.
Debate on vote number 11, Public Service and Administration, including vote number 7, National School of Government, and vote number 12, Public Service Commission Appropriation Bill.
I now call on the Honourable Minister of Public Service and Administration.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Minister of Public Service and Administration, Honourable Kekane, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament, the Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration, fellow South Africans. I'm tabling the budget for the Department of Public Service and Administration, vote 11, for the National School of Government, vote 12, and for the Public Service Commission, which is vote 7. During the State of the Nation address earlier this year, the President of the Republic quoted the words of our late President Nelson Mandela as voted in 1994 and said, open quote, "This is the beginning of a new era. We have moved from the era of pessimism, division, limited opportunities, turmoil, and conflict. We are starting a new era of hope, reconciliation, and nation building." Honourable Deputy Speaker, I'm privileged and deeply honored that the President and the people of South Africa have entrusted me to lead this department to drive the reforms and improvement that will be important in realizing the goals of rebuilding public trust in a purpose-driven public service. The professional and ethical and capable public service must be responsive and meet the expectations of our people in this new era. Our approach to professionalization of public service does not simply mean the accumulation of qualifications by public servants, but the public service that deliver quality services to our people. It means to serve the people of this country with the renewed sense of pride and respect for our work. For us as public servants, we understand that our work is not about just pursuing a career, but it's a response to the highest calling of serving and to serve our people in the spirit of Ubuntu. It is for this reason that we have identified priorities to improve on the following areas: improving the trust in government and government services by decisively dealing with corruption and corrupt officials and swiftly act against those abusing the state; improving discipline management to ensure that disciplinary processes are completed timeously, because it's unacceptable that senior management within the departments are on lengthy suspension and at the cost of taxpayers, while sitting at home and litigating their way through the system. Lifestyle audits must be conducted across board when the system is abused for personal and selfish gains. Modernization of our service delivery monitoring system to ensure that complaints are handled efficiently. We need a government-wide system that will identify gaps where departments are lagging behind and reward those departments that are working efficiently. Modernizing of public service through the digitization and use of information communication technology innovations, including e-recruitment, HR management, and delivery of government services. Partnering with the organized labor to ensure that the collective bargaining system works for improving the needs of public servants and government services, improving the health and welfare of public servants by ensuring their well-being, including on matters of mental health. Deputy Speaker and honorable members, we are convinced that by targeting the above-mentioned areas, we can build a professional public service driven by a strong sense of purpose, professionalism, and commitment. Lapho khona abasebenzi abafana nothisha bethu beyohlonishwa njengoba beyizibanzezwe, amaphoyisa njengabakhuseli bezwe, kanye nabasebenzi bezempilo njengabahlengi bemphefumulo yethu. South Africans deserve a public service that is professional, functional, and driven by a deep sense of commitment for the greater good. Like I've said before, this department is actually to the country what the heart is to our bodies. It's essential, life-sustaining, and central to the overall functioning of our government. Honorable Deputy Speaker, one of the key achievements of the department was the tabling of Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Amendment Act Bill in Parliament in March 2023. This legislative reform aims to enhance the professionalization of public sector and address long-standing challenges. We have and will continue to implement measures to drive cost-effective operation, prudently manage the public sector wage bill, and realize greater value for money in the delivery of public services. The implementation of Operation Management Framework, the Business Process Modernization Program, and the Organizational Functionality Assessment Directive have all played a crucial role in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of public service. Honorable members, the department has also played an important role in strengthening international cooperation and stakeholder relations. We have been the focal point for the African peer review mechanism and open government partnership, ensuring that South Africa remains at the front of good governance and public participation locally and in the continent. We are therefore pleased to announce that the department will host an engagement in the second quarter funded by partners to consolidate the transformation of employees' health and wellness in the public service. For the first time, Honorable Speaker, traditional healers will be invited to share their views on how we can manage indaba zokuthwasa namadlozi in the public service as we comprehensively deal with temporary incapacity and improve leave management. The department also has an allocated joint budget of 539,521,000, which we share with the CPSI for 2024 and 2025 financial year. With regards to the Center for Public Service Innovation, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Kekane, will provide more detail and share with this House developments on the government employee medical scheme and government employee housing schemes. It is rather unfortunate, Deputy Speaker, that we've experienced some significant budget cuts in the past financial year, which have slowed down some of our programs and have resulted in a combined cut of over 120 posts within the department. Honorable members, the Public Service Commission stands as a crucial institution in the vision of rebuilding public trust in the purpose-driven public service. The PSC has been at the forefront of strengthening the integrity, efficiency, and responsiveness of our public administration. The key milestone in this endeavor was the tabling of the PSC bill in Parliament in September last year. This bill, Deputy Speaker, speaks to enhance the Commission's oversight role and expand its mandate to state-owned entities and local government, empowering the Commission to ensure accountability, ethical conduct across the entire public sector. Through a collaborative approach that brings together all three spheres of government, the Commission had developed a comprehensive process roadmap to guide the rollout of this transformative framework. In recognizing that a value-driven culture is essential for good governance, The Commission had intensified its advocacy work to promote constitutional values and principles. The Commission has also developed a comprehensive guide to support whistleblowers as they play a crucial role in exposing corruption and safeguarding the public interest. Honorable members, the work of the Commission stands as an example of the progress we have made in building a public service that is responsive, accountable, and committed to the people. I therefore wish to table the budget allocated for the 2024-25 financial year of the Commission amounting to 288.5 million. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the National School of Government has a critical role to play in supporting the vision of the department. By expanding its mandate to encompass all spheres of government, the school helps to cultivate professional public servants who are not only technically competent, but also imbued with the values and principles of Patupile and the Constitution. Through targeted intervention, the school will strengthen the capacity of building sector leaders in the areas of political leadership, economic governance, strategic oversight, and administrative excellence. This will equip them to address the unique challenges faced by the government of national unity, where diverse political ideologies, manifestos must be reconciled for the common good of our people. Therefore, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I extend my invitation to all the members of this parliament to join me in signing up for a course at the National School of Government so that we too, as members of this house, can experience the first-hand work of our school. Through forging partnerships with the private sector, industry, and civil society, the school develops innovative learning pathways that addresses systemic challenges and unlock new opportunities for service delivery improvements. As we professionalize the public service, the work echoed in the school will see the work echoed in the NSG will see the school become a world-class academy that will shape and mold the future of patriotic technocrats. I'm pleased to announce that the National School of Government, together with other partners such as the Presidency, Department of Monitoring and Evaluation, and the University of Johannesburg, will be hosting a conference at the end of this month themed 3 Decades of Democracy in South Africa, a critical reflection and social dialogue towards social, economic, and global transformation. I'm confident that by working hand in hand, we can make a significant stride in rebuilding public trust and delivering response, professional public service that all South Africans rightly deserve. The allocated budget for the National School of Government is 218.7 million, of which 107.9 is transferred to the trading account. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in October 2024, we are expecting more than 6,900 global and local participants at the International Conference on Theory and Practice of Electronic Governance from academia, governments, international organizations, civil society, and industry. We are co-hosting the IceGov with the United Nations and the Wits University to allow participants to share their latest insight and experience in the theory and practice of electronic government. In conclusion, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Minister and I are deeply committed to provide the necessary leadership and support to the department, motivated by the words echoed by one of our statesmen, the oldest serving member of this parliament, late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who said, and I quote, "We must work until we feel the pain. If we have not felt the pain, it will mean we have not started," close quote. This means we must go all above and beyond our normal call of duty in the service of our people, no matter how difficult the situation is. Honorable members, allow me to thank what I refer to as the engine room driving the department and its program. The Director General, Ms. Makasi, and the team, the Principal of the National School of Government, Professor Ngaweni, and the team, the Chairperson of the PSC, Professor Fikeni, and Advocate Dube, and the team, and the Acting Executive Director of CPSI, Ms. Soboketi, and the team, for your hard work and commitment. I therefore, Honorable Speaker, present the budget vote 7, 11, and 12 of the department. Thank you very much.
Chairperson. Okay. Chairperson. the minister willing to take a question of clarity?
Honourable Member, in terms of the rules, such a question for clarity or privilege may only be asked during the speech, not afterwards.
Chairperson, you see the question of what the minister have actually said in respect of the government of national unity, it's an issue of concern for me because as the MK party, the implication thereof is that the government that is, if he contextualize it in that particular fashion, it simply means that he's actually partisan in the approach of everything that the public administration is going to do. So it is a relevant question that needs to actually be asked, because if it's partisan, then the delivery of the public service is in the exclusion. It's not going to be throughout the government, but it's actually going to be to the parties that are in government of national unity.
Honourable Member, in terms of our rules, a question of clarity has to be asked, as I said, during the speech. Your question that you ask is a matter of debate and should be dealt with in committee. It is not part of the mini plenary procedures. So that is not how the mini plenaries proceed in terms of our rules. So I fully understand that you have questions that you would like to ask, but that is for the committee. Whenever you meet, you may ask that of the minister. Thank you. We now proceed, and the next speaker.
Deputy Speaker.
Yes, honourable member from the EFF.
Yes, no, it's Honourable Maswi Plus, Deputy Speaker. Maybe before the ANC member takes the podium, I think it would be important, Deputy Speaker, that we register our concerns again regarding the non-attendance of the ANC members. Even though it might be a party disciplinary issue, but I do believe that as Parliament, we ought to hold our members accountable for non-attendance, because Parliament pays us to come and play this role that we are playing here. So the ANC members right now are pickpocketing the states because they are taking salaries and then they are going to sleep in hotels and not coming to do their work here. So as the EFF, we are very concerned about that, and we just need to register that this is unacceptable, and we ought to hold parties accountable for their members not attending mini plenaries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, that is not really a point of order, but you have expressed your concern. I don't know where the ANC members are, and I think that is a matter that their chief whip will have to deal with, whether they are attending the other mini plenary going on at the same time now. Thank you very much. Now, the honourable member at the podium, I have not yet called you, so I would like to call you officially to the podium, the Honourable Gaba Nshaba. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Greeting to the Deputy Speaker, Minister, Deputy Minister, and Commissioner of Public Service, Mr. Somadoda Figeng, and honorable members. I greet you all. The African National Congress has always contested the state power to advance the interest of the marginalized. Centrally to state power is the capability of the state to translate policy objectives and constitutional obligation into a lived reality of South Africa. The state's capability is an important determinant of the ability to transform socially and economic conditions. Placing the people at the center of government work is fundamentally, as government is constituted by the people's power. The government has committed to advance and building a meritocratic state capacitated by capable public servant, driven by Batupili's principles. These principles are an important oriented as all public servants need to understand that their role is to serve the people of South Africa. In the sixth administration, the government adopted a professionalization framework that seeks to address a number of system challenges that important the public service. Through the public recruitment process, the department must ensure it monitors compliance with the standards across the three spheres of government. The professionalization framework has key objectives which are to tighten a pre-entry requirement as well as effective recruitment and selection processes that meritocratic appointment across all levels. To undertake workplace orientation and induction programs that are linked to an boarding and mainstreamed as an intervention for organizational development. For effective HR planning, performance management, and appraising system, including performance standards and the assessment instrument for different categories of employment. Public service returning to the simulator by undertaking continuous learning and professional development. This will include public sector officials being encouraged to register with professional councils, starting with specific categories of occupation in the public sector, which I will mention later, managing the career progression and career incident of public servant and heads of department respectively will ensure that public servants are oriented for continuous improvement and development. All these objectives when under quarterly implemented by the three spheres of government and the arms of the state will enhance the state's capability to implement. Ensuring the public service are public servants who need to be continuously supported and trained to respond to different tasks. The national schools of government has played a major role in diversifying training opportunity and increasing the number of public servants undergoing training. This is a major achievement of the entity as it develops a culture of training within the public service. The National Schools of Government is also open for South Africans who are not yet part of the public service. The democratic against to protect workers' rights also apply to public servants who are protected and having their interest advanced by their labor representative in the bargaining council. We believe that the government has to compete with the private sector for skilled and experienced personnel, and the government has improved workers' working conditions over the years. We are confident that our government will continue to protect the right of workers under the government of the national unity. In the sixth parliament, the portfolio committee in
Honourable
public
member at the
service.
podium, please take your seat. There is a point of order. Honourable member.
Member, can we just get clarity on the government of national unity? What does it mean? Is it in exclusion of us who are actually here representing our people? Because that is a partisan approach. It's sugar-coated to mean that it is actually a government exclusively only for those parties like the ANC.
Honourable member, in terms of Rule 92, the point of order may be raised in terms of procedure of the House or unparliamentary expressions. Now, if you are asking a question, it is not related to this specific topic today, and I do advise you that you deal with it within your party's time to make a speech in this debate and to further take it up with the relevant ministers and in terms of your portfolio committee, because I cannot allow this matter now to become an issue of debate when we are busy with a mini plenary on a specific department. And I trust that you will understand that this is not the correct platform. Thank you. And my ruling is final. And honourable member, if you are not satisfied with my ruling, in terms of the rules, you are allowed to write to the speaker, not on the merit or the substance, but on the specific point and principle that you have raised and your specific issue in terms of the ruling. So that is your recourse in terms of parliamentary rules. So, Honourable Speaker, at the podium, you may proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The sixth parliament, the Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration processed two critical spaces of legislation, which sought to advance the professionalization of the state. The Public Administration Management Bill and the Public Administration Management Bill and the Public Service Administration Bill address a number of issues impacting to the public service. Honorable Deputy Speaker, it responds to the challenges of the politically and administrative interface by developing powers for heads of department. As a portfolio committee, we have made a recommendation that include the resuscitation of the speed finalization of the regulation of the Public Administration Management Act of 2020 of
Honourable
2014.
Member, your time has expired.
The ANC support the budget, the budget vote level. Thank you.
I now invite the Honourable de Villiers.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, on behalf of the DA, I would like to congratulate Minister Buthelezi, as well as Deputy Minister Kekana on their appointments to the Cabinet, and respectively, the Minister as Minister of and Deputy Minister of Public Administration, Service and Administration. I'll get it right. So many said that it would be impossible, yet here we are, a working government of national unity, arrangement with an IFP minister, a ANC deputy minister, and a chairperson of the portfolio from the DA. This arrangement is a direct result of the GNU partners reflecting the will of the people to form a government that needs to ensure stability and peace, tackle the triple problem of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, and build a true non-racial, non-sexist, united, and democratic society. It is our responsibility to protect the rule of law and the Constitution, especially against those present in this House who would gladly tear it up and burn it down. Chair, put in the simplest of terms, it is the urgent and important task of this new government of national unity to improve the lives of South Africans. Unemployment, poverty, and inequality can only be truly tackled if the state has the ability to deliver services fairly and equally to all its citizens. Only when someone born in a poor community has access to working government services and infrastructure can they develop themselves and their talents to break the cycle of poverty in their lives. That is the vital role the Department of Public Service and Administration plays in the improvement in the lives of people, because it is the true engine room that has the potential to create a public service that delivers a culture of professional service delivery. South Africans can only gain access to better lives if they are delivered better state services. If the very people responsible for service delivery fails at their jobs, then the government does not work. And the government cannot work if the people running the government are not professional, ethical, and selected on merit. Chairperson, it is critical that the GNU prioritizes the creation of a public workforce that is independent, professional, effective, and competent. A fit-for-purpose public service where individuals have been selected on their skills, not on their political affiliation. What South Africans need and what our citizens deserve is a culture of professional service delivery. And to achieve this, the professionalization and independence of government employment and labor practices are central to creating a capable state that can deliver this new culture of effective service delivery. In the government of national unity, there can be no place for cadre deployment. This practice of placing party loyalists in key government positions while ignoring merit and job descriptions for the positions they occupy cannot be tolerated, and the practice needs to end immediately. The different parties in the GNU have taken the first bold step in signing a statement of intent in forming this government together. And as we now work together towards improving the lives of South Africans, it is the responsibility of all parties in the GNU to honor clause 8.9 of the statement of intent and to create, and I quote, a professional, merit-based, non-partisan developmental public service that puts people first based on integrity, good governance, and accountable leadership. Chair, as the newly elected chairperson of the Committee for Public Service and Administration, I can give the President, the Minister, the people of South Africa the assurance that in our committee, the GNU partners will work together, and we have already started working together across party lines towards this goal, improving the lives of South Africans by giving them the public service they deserve, the public service that will improve their lives. Thank you, Chair.
And now call on the Honourable Nzimbandi, and this will be his maiden speech.
Now, good morning, honorable members. Ngizawuthanda nje ukubingelela abomkhonto ne-EFF ngithunywe nguAmalala. We, as umkhonto wesizwe, oppose or reject this budget vote for simple reasons. Ngizawubekwa nguMageba. Labantu bakhohlakele angeke beyiyeke inkohlakalo. I must deal with quickly the 2 of 4 matters. On the issue of corruption, dealing with disciplinary management, improvement. This government seeks administration, together obviously with its incapacitated government of national unity, will fail as it has failed to deal with issues that deals with discipline. In relation, when it relates to the premiers who have a joint function to appoint, head of departments and level 15 of the hospital CEOs. We are sitting with a situation, for example, in Gauteng, 3 big academic hospitals, 3 CEOs with no qualification, brought to their attention by some organization that also now is in the GNU, and nothing has happened, including the Public Service Commission has failed to intervene and deal with that. And we don't believe that there shall be any improvement in terms of the quality of service delivery if incorrect people are placed in the correct positions. It is just a pipe that definitely shall never bring any new life to our people. They will just definitely fail. And we believe that is totally something that we'll have to, as the opposition party that is official, will have to raise vigorously every time here. Second matter, they are talking of issue of professionalization, of professionalizing public service. You can't professionalize public service when you appoint incorrect people who don't possess necessary attributes. You can't again improve service delivery if obviously it's resources that informs the functions. You are not informed by what are the real factors, for example, in health, epidemiology, and other factors. You are busy with the issue of austerity measures to try and cut down and say to people there will be new life if this GNU is given a chance. The other aspect, Madam Chair, relates on undermining of collective bargaining. It is incorrect and misleading again that lives of workers have improved over years because over years, some agreements were never implemented. Where there were agreements about increase in terms of salaries. Recent years, we have seen also adjustments that are not even inflation related. So you can't come here and come and say lives of our people have changed. We also want to raise another matter which is of importance, that the organizational structures that you have in all these departments are not really talking to the strategic plans that are always linked with a mandate of the government. It's not. Every time they're lacking behind, then they can't be responsive in terms of the service delivery as expected, because they have been there for quite some times, whereas the material conditions are changing over and over and again. So there can't be any new intervention that can be made by this marriage. They have lacked also ideas. And if I may to deal with Tula's point now, quickly, it relates also on the interrelationship between the Public Service Commission and also the DPSA, where decisions are taken and recommendations are made, no tool to ensure that these are implemented. Where irregularities have been identified, whether in procurement, whether in staffing or employment, there's nothing. Whereas you do have the legislative framework, including the issue of PRECA, that is there that can assist you to deal with any classification, which also explains itself to mean and include employment contract. They find that contracts are wrong, of employment are irregular, but no one has ever been taken to court. The least that you'll be told is that there's no budget, you can't do anything ourselves, Public Service Commission. And the TPSA ministers are just quiet, whereas our people are suffering on the ground. I've dealt with the issue of the factors that should be informing organizational plans and APPs. Which definitely there's no synergy between what is being done by this previous government and this government. We believe it's not going to be able to do it. The last part then, Chair, is that it would be misleading to think the current kind of an induction that workers are given as they enter public service will be able to be responsive. And even what is being said here, it's not dealing with that. It will be able to be responsive to what kind of a cadre that we need as public service. A cadre that will have all the tools and resources to be able to deal with the challenges that are faced by the vulnerable or the poor.
Honourable Member, your time has expired. Thank you. I now invite the Honourable Pilishe. It is her maiden speech as well.
Before I begin, Chairperson, allow me to congratulate the EFF Chairperson in Gauteng, Komisa Ngululeko Dunga, who as the MMC of Finance in Ekurhuleni lives behind a legacy of sound financial system and improvements. The city of Ekurhuleni scooped 2 awards for excellence in governance during the second annual Salga Municipal Audit Awards held in Johannesburg on Friday. The city walked away with 2 awards for reducing unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, and also implementing consequence management in the 2023-2024 financial year. This is a proof that the EFF is ready to govern. Chairperson, allow me to register my concern and dissatisfaction about being persuaded and almost ambushed to support reports and budgets that have programs that do not reflect anything about what they are going to, that do not reflect anything about how they are going to change the status quo. For instance, it is no secret that Batubili is not a reality, an initiative that was supposed to give good customer service to all government employees, to all government services has failed to prioritize our people. As a result, these initiatives do not resonate with them. Today, 30 years later, people in this country, particularly African people, still wake up in the early hours of the morning for government services that they never get to receive. Yet, the solution and possible solutions are not reflected in the report we are persuaded to support. 30 years later, our people continue to die because ambulances are still struggling to access the areas in which they live. Their areas are without clinics, and when they do have clinics, they do not operate 24 hours. Yet, we are persuaded to support this report. The Public Service Commission discovered that there are employees who have been suspended for the past 12, 8, and even 7 years, yet they still receive full government salaries. I have no doubt this is the case because committees are persuaded to support reports that they are not familiar with. All the state entities that presented to our committee complained about how their budgets were cut to the bone. As a result, a huge chunk of their budget, almost 80% to be precise, in all of them covers rent and salaries. Why is it that departments are not presenting to us precise budgets that will bring about change in the lives of our people? Why are they okay with presenting budgets that help them rent buildings and collect salaries while our people continue to suffer? I am a new member of this parliament, but my observation and experience are that the lawmakers here who are supposed to fight and help better the lives of our people and the people who voted for them are reduced to voting cattle. This is another level of disrespect. When the economic freedom fighters raised these issues with the committee, people who have been leading government were up in arms calling for the support of these misguided and rushed reports as if their failures in the past 30 years have taught them nothing. The EFF refuses to be part of this disorganization that this GNU is already displaying, taking the baton from the failed Tumaminat Brigade. Leading to elections, Chairperson, our people told us that what they want, and we made clear commitments to them on what we would do for them as the EFF. The only budget that the EFF will support is the budget that seeks to build the state capacity, a budget that will insource security guards, the cleaners, the drivers and general workers who work in hospitals, clinics, police stations, and other state-owned companies. We will support a budget that will seek to employ graduates from institutions of higher learning in government entities and state-owned companies. The EFF will support a budget that will establish Omas Ngabane to bury the poor with dignity and at no cost at all. We, Chairperson, will support a report that reflects the abolishment of the limit of the abolition of the age limit that restricts those who are over 35 years old from applying for government internships. This government has no political will to eradicate poverty and youth unemployment because if they did, the budget will reflect the plan to establish the state-owned housing construction company, the state-owned roads construction company, and even the state-owned pharmaceutical companies. If they were serious, Chairperson, they would abolish the EPWPs and employ all the people in the program on the full-time basis. There's an important bill in front of the National Assembly today about the Public Service Commission becoming the Chapter 9 institution, a very important bill that should be prioritized by this committee, but we know nothing about it. Chairperson, there are vacancies of commissioners in provinces and the departments are filled with people who have been acting in critical position for years. There is no doubt that these play a crucial part in the delivery of services to our people. Actual budgets by the people who are not detached from the realities of our people should never be about collecting salaries and renting buildings. As the EFF, we want to know how do departments like Home Affairs, Social Development, and Police Provincial Offices continue to lease offices 30 years later? They could have finished paying the bonds if they bought straight from the developers. We want to know what happens to the GEPF funds when a member dies 6 years after retirement. We want to know what does the government do what does the government do to cushion its employees who do not qualify for state subsidized houses or bonded houses? If it is for all these reasons, that
Honourable
the
Member,
EFF
your
cannot.
time has expired. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is for all these reasons that the EFF cannot in good conscience support these rushed arrangements by the so-called government of national unity. I thank you.
Now invite the Honourable Mhlongo.
I greet you all, honorable members, my Deputy Speaker. I'm Honorable N.H. Mhlongo, who is standing on behalf of Honorable Princess S.A. Buthelezi. As the IFP, we are honored to be represented in this department by Minister Inkosi Mzamo Buthelezi. Siyakubongela, Ndaba Zitha. We know that his deep passion for rooting out corruption and addressing the gross mismanagement of public funds will greatly benefit this department. Professional public service is a key component of our country to reach its developmental goals. With the huge demand of social and economic upliftment needs of South Africa, our public service cannot allow the unprofessional, unethical, and unreliable employees within our system. This highlights the importance of the Public Service Commission in overseeing, monitoring, and evaluating, as well as investigating the public administrative practices, as well as creating a capable and ethical developmental public service. However, the public sector wage bill remains the government's biggest expenditure, growing by about 40% in real terms over the past 14 years. This has largely contributed to the government's current gross loan debt as a percentage of the GDP ballooning to 74%, the highest since 1947. In plain terms, this effectively means that 1 out of every 5 rand earned from tax is now spent on debt payments. Under the previous administration, as a country, we have been left stand by the length people have gone to in order to defraud, misuse, blatantly steal public funds. Unfortunately, the saddest part was the fact that it was public service employees who were complicit in the looting of public funds. Under the previous government, corruption and mismanagement of public funds became so normalized that we have grown numb instead of outraged. While we know repaying debts and rooting out a deeply entrenched system of corruption and mismanagement of public funds will be no easy feat, as the IFP, we believe that this new administration will be up to the task. As the IFP, we support the budget vote and will continue to work alongside the department to ensure that the principles of Batupili and the vision of the NTP are fully fulfilled. Thank you.
I now invite the Honourable Deno.
Dankie, adjunkspreker. Adjunkspreker, die rol wat die Departement van Staatsdiens en Administrasie in Suid-Afrikaners se lewens speel, kan nie gering geag word nie. Hoewel elke departement verantwoordelik is vir sy dienste wat hy aan Suid-Afrikaners bied, is dit hierdie departement se verantwoordelikheid om seker te maak dat 'n werksetiek en dienslewering van hoë staande gehalte in die staatsdiens heers. Die langbesproke professionaliseringsraamwerk wat in die proses is om uitgerol te word, moet dus so spoedig as moontlik behoorlik van kant tot wal in die staatsdiens geïmplementeer word. Suid-Afrika kan nie na 30 jaar meer wag vir 'n professionele, etiese en ontwikkelingsgeoriënteerde staatsdiens nie. Die staatsdiens moet nou sy standaarde lig en die VF+ verwelkom inisiatiewe deur hierdie departement om hierdie doelwit te bereik. Ons sal die vordering daarvan fyn dophou. Deputy Speaker, the Public Service Wage Bill remains a problem that must be addressed with urgency. Public service compensation, as the previous speaker also said, has grown by 40% in real terms over the past 14 years and is the largest component of public spending, which means that government will have to increase its borrowing to sustain its wage bill. This is an unsustainable situation. We therefore welcome the department's initiative of identifying 5 work streams to tackle the bloated public service wage bill. On top of a bloated wage bill, the public service can simply not afford the high levels of fraud and corruption any longer. The Public Service Commission, therefore, needs to be better capacitated to properly serve as one of the efforts aimed at identifying and addressing poor service delivery, fraud and corruption in state departments. Provincial Public Service Commission offices have only about 10 employees, and there are at least 2 vacancies of provincial commissioners, one of which has been without a provincial commissioner for more than 5 years. This is not acceptable, Deputy Speaker. The mandate of and services rendered by the Public Service Commission should also be better communicated and marketed to citizens. If we go outside now and ask people if they know what the Public Service Commission is and what it does, I promise you most of them will not even know that it exists. Social media and other platforms must be utilized to inform South Africans that there is indeed a watchdog where they can lodge complaints and grievances regarding the public service. If government is serious about proper service delivery to the people of South Africa and rooting out corruption, then these matters must be attended to on an urgent basis. Die nasionale regeringsskool het net so groot rol te speel om te verseker dat staatsdepartemente werk van hoë staande gehalte lewer. Ons verwelkom die inisiatiewe deur die regeringsskool, soos die Nyakela program en veral die feit dat middelvlakbestuur nie vir bevordering in ag geneem kan word sonder hierdie kwalifikasie nie. Daar is egter sekere waardes en beginsels wat nie deur opleiding en onderrig geleer kan word nie, soos werksetiek en 'n sin vir verantwoordelikheid. Dit moet in ag geneem word by die aanstellingsproses reeds. Adjunkspreker, ons staan aan die voorrand van verandering en vernuwing in ons land, ons regering, in ons departemente en in ons staatsdiens. Minister Buthelezi en adjunkminister Kekana, Suid-Afrikaners het ons die mandaat gegee om hierdie departement om te draai. Dis nou of nooit. Ek dankie.
I now call on the Honourable Letlape.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the presiding officer, the minister, and the deputy minister. Just to begin by saying that I believe in ancestors, but I don't believe in ghosts. So I hope one of the priorities should be to ensure that we rid ourselves of ghost workers. We listen to the recommendations of the commission, and we set a time frame that in 6 to 12 months, there will be no ghosts in the public service. And I hope the commission will help set up a template for performance and accountability of our officers, so that we as a portfolio committee and as members of parliament should be accountable, that the ministry should be accountable. We love the concept of professionalizing the public sector, but we also need assistance to ensure that the National Assembly and Parliament are professionalized too. Because we can't have professionalism at the bottom when we do not have professionalism at the top. The issue of competencies and ethical behavior should be paramount in us coming to the assembly so that we can serve the people. When you professionalize, you ensure that people are full-time public servants. Insourcing should come back to the fore. We should rebuild public service. If we want to professionalize, we should be careful about governance over RWAPs. Because if you are a professional, you should be given a full-time salary that is commensurate with your responsibilities, without your employer saying, I'm underpaying you, and I'm giving you permission to do work outside what you are employed to do full-time. A recipe for disaster. I have seen how RWAPs have destroyed health services. They've destroyed the public platform, the training platform. So if people are to do RWAPs, they need to account for what they do outside public service and how much they earn. And they should report monthly. So that you could take an informed view when somebody is earning more than what you're paying them full time. Something is wrong with the formula that we apply. Irregular appointments, as has been said by a previous colleague from MK, are a serious issue. Baragwanath Hospital is the third largest hospital in the planet. When you appoint a CEO that does not meet the requirements, it's a recipe for disaster. We hope that will be investigated and disciplinary measures will be taken. I don't mean putting people on full-time pay for the next 10 years while they seek other employment. There should be time frames on disciplinary hearings. If they have not been concluded in 6 months, put a law, start separation with that employee, because that relationship is not going to work. We support the budget on the conditions that it is used appropriately, and would like to ensure that as new members, we are given sufficient information and sufficient time to support. Congratulations on your appointment. We will support the Public Service Commission and we will hold ourselves and yourselves accountable. I thank you, Chair.
The Honourable Deputy Minister of Public Service and Administration.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The Minister of the Department of Public Service and Administration, Inkosi Mzamo Buthelezi, Honourable Members of Parliament, and in particular, the Chairperson, Honourable de Villiers, and members of the Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration, the Chairpersons of the Public Service Commission and GEMS who are here, Chairperson of the Public Sector Education and Training Authority, Directors General, and all other senior executives, esteemed guests, and fellow South Africans. It is humbling to stand before you today to deliver my maiden speech as the Deputy Minister of the Department of Public Service and Administration. President Ramaphosa stated in his inauguration speech, and I quote, "Now is the time to move forward. Together we'll do more and better. Now is the time to assemble all our capabilities and to direct all our energies to answer the call of the people of South Africa. We dare not linger, we dare not rest until we have created jobs for those who need them, until there is enough food on every table, until every person in every town, city, village, and farm receives the basic services they need for a decent life," close quote. This was a direct call by our President to all public servants. We need to answer His Excellency's call assuredly and without reservation as we enter this seventh administration. Now is the time indeed. Honorable Deputy Speaker, professionalizing public administration is one of the key imperatives for building a capable state, and the DPSA, we have a strategic intent to optimize Batupili to normalize efficient service delivery. And I'm saying to honorable members from MK and EFF, watch the space. As the honorable minister emphasized at our recent DPSA
Deputy Speaker.
meeting, we cannot
Deputy
afford
Speaker.
to drop the ball. It's my maiden speech, unfortunately. You can't interrupt me.
Honorable Deputy Minister, please take your seat. I think we have a different definition of a maiden speech. Honorable Member, you are raising on a point.
Yeah, point of order, Deputy
Yes.
Speaker. We just want to find out from the Deputy Minister if that was a threat to say we must watch out. Is she threatening us now? We don't know.
Honorable Member, I think that particular expression is not a threat. It is an invitation. Honorable Deputy Minister, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Minister, there's another point of order. I will, however, now, members, ask you as in terms of the rules that you point to the specific rule that you are rising on. So please proceed. Which point are you rising on? That is in the rules.
Uyabona inkinga yabantu bokufika bayinkinga lana. Ngithina lento le ayishoyo. Iyasesabisa. Namanje ngiyaqhaqhazela nje ebhlukweni.
I'm afraid the interpreting service isn't working right now, but I will confer and I will come back to you. Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As the Honorable Minister emphasized at our recent DPSA EXCO meeting, and I quote, "We cannot afford to drop the ball. We need to get it right the first time," close quote. And so we begin this administration with clear marching orders. Ungajahi impi. By professionalizing public service, government can improve the quality of education, social services, housing, access to healthcare, transport, labor, and actually all areas of public service. This not only improves the quality of life for our people, but it potentially reduces legal actions and claims, which will have a positive impact on government spending and cost to taxpayers, while simultaneously reducing the pressure on already limited resources. Very importantly, professionalizing public service results in higher staff morale, which leads to increased productivity and improved performance output. And so, honorable members, I now have the distinct honor of presenting to you the budget for the Department of Public Service and Administration. Following on from the Honorable Minister, I beseech your attention for the report of the Center for Public Service Innovation, CPSI, for the 2024-25 financial year on the performance of government medical aid schemes, GEMS, and the Government Employee Housing Scheme, GEHS. I'm proud to report on the remarkable work by the center, which is CPSI, who have maintained a clean audit track record on the sixth consecutive year and seventh year overall. This impressive feat speaks directly to professionalizing public service through governance compliance, rigorous financial management, and robust accountability measures that have been institutionalized. One of the major steps taken by CPSI in this regard was to insource system developers, thereby accelerating capacity to deliver on its mandate. This empowered the center to enter into strategic partnership like with the Eastern Cape government, for example, where we are co-designing innovative solutions by enabling the sharing of software codes. We'll share other remarkable partnerships with yourselves going forward. The CPSI spearheaded the Let's Talk Citizen Engagement app developed by young innovator Muepi Situna, which facilitates two-way communication between citizens and representatives, enabling optimized service delivery and public engagement. For the next financial year, the 46 million rand budget will be allocated to continued research, development of innovative solutions, increasing capacity by hiring more systems developers and supporting the advancement of digital skills among the youth and STEM subjects in schools. These initiatives not only promote STEM education and nurture young talent, but demonstrates our commitment to transforming public service while also raising the South African flag across the world, because our solutions to our problems could also solve many other nations' problems. On that note, Honorable Deputy Speaker, please join me in congratulating the CPSI and the Western Cape Provincial Government for winning the UN Public Service Award at the UN Public Service Forum held recently in Korea. The Citizen-Centric Digital Transformation Award in the Innovation category was for a digitalized government to resolve multiple challenges, enabling public administration to better respond to community needs. Honorable members, as the largest closed medical scheme in South Africa, GEMS is also the fastest growing. By 31 December 2023, the scheme had 844,000 plus registered principal members and covered over 2.27 million beneficiaries. It demonstrated exceptional financial stewardship with an impressive 94% of claims paid over 5 years. And most impressive of all, GEMS' focus on cost containment is something that it's worth acknowledging. And we are proud that GEMS is also managing its finances prudently, and the scheme also expanded the eligibility criteria on onboarding new groups such as the Independent Electoral Commission, our IECs, SIU, Umalusi, and Legal Aid. And this is an attempt to expand its services to other institutions. Honorable members, since 2015, Government Employees Housing Scheme has assisted government employees in accessing affordable and decent housing. The GEHS, through the Individual Linked Savings Facility, facilitated a savings culture amongst public servants, and as of March 2024, 23.9 billion has been saved in the ILSF by approximately 800,872 eligible recipients or employees. Beyond the housing allowance, GEHS established a call center to provide much needed education and support for both employees and HR practitioners, with 612,900 government employees now registered with the system. So we are very proud, and we are calling on members to spread the message and make sure that many of our employees continue to enroll and benefit out of this scheme. Honorable House Chair, this year is the 10th anniversary of the launch of the first urban mall, Tusong Service Center at Maponya Mall, by the then Minister Collins Chabani, in honor of the Public Service Month held annually in September. Of course, it means this year we'll also invite members in September to join the minister as we continue to do outreach. And I think of Minister Chabani and whether he would be proud as he was that day of the Tucson service centers all across South Africa. And it is a call we are making and the commitment we are making to revive these centers, to make sure that our people are able to access services in their nearest constituencies, especially those in the far-flung rural areas. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the progress we highlighted today across the CPSI, GEMS, and GEHS demonstrate our commitment to rebuilding public trust through professionalizing public service. Together, let us forge ahead, driven by our shared vision of a public service that is responsive, innovative, and dedicated to the well-being of South Africans. And I want to assure members of the MKP that currently the NSG and the DPSA are busy with the skills audit to make sure that we have the right people at the right place. The Public Service Commission has a new bill in the pipeline, and it's a Chapter 10 institution. And that bill at its center, it's about us using experts as part of the recruitment process. And it's about us also making sure that the PSC becomes fully independent. We're calling on members of this House to join us and agree and vote for that bill to pass through Parliament, because that bill will also become a game changer in the public service. And we note all your concerns, and we can assure you, Honorable Jabulani
Deputy
Nzimande,
Minister, your
that
time
we are
has
up in the
expired.
game in the public service. Thank you.
I now invite the Honourable Potgieter, and this will also be her maiden speech.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, honourable members of the House, Minister, Deputy Minister, and fellow South Africans. In the words of Simon Sinek, integrity is when our words and deeds are consistent with our intentions. Clause 11.5 of the Statement of Intent for the 2024 Government of National Unity states that one of the priorities of the 7th Administration should be building state capacity and creating a professional, merit-based, corruption-free, and developmental public service, restructuring and improving state-owned entities to meet national development goals. National government has been preaching for years about its intention to create an efficient and effective public service that speaks to the needs and wants of the electorate. If you look at the reports emanating from the Department of Public Service and Administration, you will find all the right descriptors: skillful, ethical, corrupt-free, responsive, caring, culture of excellence, accountable. And yet every year, the standard of service delivery across all 3 spheres of government has declined at a rapid rate, resulting in more service delivery protests, unhappier citizens, and more requests for additional funding to address a crisis that has reached epic proportions. If the recent elections have shown us nothing else, it has shown all of us that there is a growing discontent among our people in how government serves them, because that is government's purpose, to serve the people. It is imperative that we fully commit to realizing the intent of our commitment as parties to the Government of National Unity, to ensure that this priority becomes entrenched within the institution of government. Cadre deployment has largely contributed to the decline of an ethical and responsive workforce, which, following pressure from the Democratic Alliance, found expression in the Zondo Commission, where it was declared unconstitutional and illegal. The Cadre deployment bill introduced by the DA in 2021 no doubt influenced amendments to the Municipal Systems Amendment Act of 2022, which now prohibits public officials from public officials from holding political office. The Public Service Commission's historical reports and performance plans tabled this week clearly support the DA's ongoing fight against cadre deployment, and speak to the acknowledgement of a greater demand for a non-partisan, professional, and capable public service, as defined in the DA's manifesto and articulated clearly by the President in his inaugural speech, where he confirmed that nothing should distract us from serving the people and advancing their interests, as well as providing aid through a caring state and government that works for its people. Minister, I welcome your clear commitment to realizing a government for the people, by the people, and I pledge that we will always hold you to this commitment. Your comments in the Public Service and Administration Committee this week provided a clear steer for a professional and meritocracy public service that provides that supports the values and principles espoused in our Constitution. To sum up your thoughts for the benefit of the House, Unless we implement and monitor plans and policies to professionalize the public service, it serves no purpose to continuously sing norms and standards from a hymn sheet without ever realizing them. On paper, government protocol, interventions, and intentions appear wholly adequate to address the inefficiencies within the public sphere, but the lived reality of South Africans is vastly different. Government has become synonymous with corruption and mismanagement, which has resulted in a steep decline of skilled applicants to positions as professionals, are reticent to tarnish their image and reputation. The national framework towards professionalization of the public sector that was approved in 2022 was a step in the right direction and should be institutionalized in the public service as a matter of urgency. Government administration cannot always be synonymous with inefficiency and dysfunctionality. This is not something to be proud of. It doesn't serve the interests of government employees, nor the people that they serve. We have the opportunity right here now to collectively say, not under our watch, and we can do something about it. Now is the time. The National School of Governance cannot purely be a mechanism to count numbers through the doors. It has to be intrinsically tied to the skills audits of employees within the administration. Without this essential link, government will fail in its task to uplift and upskill its workforce effectively. It would be interesting to have an analysis of the interventions and training initiatives carried out by the NSG in terms of professionalizing and capacitating the public service, as well as addressing corruption and ethics. The Public Service Commission has highlighted a lack of skills and corruption as the key factors, or some of the key factors, affecting the effectiveness of government performance. And yet there's an inherent lack of interest countrywide in terms of implementing the measures to address this. A more thorough interrogation of the alignment between identified skills gaps and courses is a vital issue that the committee needs to tackle this term. Budget constraints are not necessarily a barrier to the work being done in this department, although an important factor, as the real test is the implementation by other departments and spheres of government on the work they've done to date, as well as the capacity constraints experienced within an exceptionally important and strategic portfolio. The fact that the Public Service Commission, for example, has only 10 officials working across 9 provinces to implement the work they're tasked with is totally unacceptable and creates an impossible barrier to successful implementation of even the best laid plans. Addressing this across portfolios and in synergy should be a priority for all. We are ultimately public representatives tasked with ensuring a better life for all who live in this country, but we are also residents who should be able to understand and empathize with the trials and tribulations experienced by everyone. We are at a point in our history where all of us are obliged to acknowledge the failures of the past and find the solutions to ensure a better future for all. There is no failure in such an approach, only a viable path forward where everyone benefits. In conclusion, as politicians, we must listen to the voice of the people, not the sound of our own voices. As politicians, we need to stand together to end corruption and cater deployment, as well as provide effective support structures and empower our public officials to realize the needs of our people. It is our duty to effect real change within the 7th administration in order to deliver on the statement of intent that parties signed in forming the government of national unity. I thank you.
The next speaker is the Honourable Tikana Kotiwe.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Minister and Deputy Minister, honourable members of the committee, members of this august house and senior management of our government led by DG, good morning. Honourable Deputy Speaker, strengthening compliance within the public service and improving consequence management is critical to strengthen efficiency, transparency and accountability in government operations. As we usher in the next 5 years of the 7th administration, we need to build on the great strides we have made since our democratic breakthrough. The government of national unity, built on constitutionalism, has profound responsibility to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the state. Backlog issues and challenges in compliance, such as temporary suspensions, unlawful employment and unlawful dismissals, lack of effective performance management and development systems, and high levels of non-compliance with legislation have the ability to weaken the capability, efficiency, and integrity of public sector operations. These challenges are part of the causal factors of poor public service provision. Addressing these backlogs necessitates a diverse strategy that involves reducing operational challenges and improving monitoring and interventions. Some of these solutions to dealing with backlog compliance issues are developing standardized procedures for conducting investigations related to suspensions, setting strict timelines for the duration of suspensions, ensuring that investigations are expedited to minimize the period of suspensions, and implementing a case management system to track the progress of investigation and ensuring that they are completed promptly and efficiently. Compliance with legislation and ethical training in the public service is fundamental to ensuring that public servants perform their duties with integrity, transparency, and accountability. Public servants are not only members who can be affiliated with the African National Congress, but it is our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our neighbors, and many other South Africans who are committed to serving our people. We must combat those who undermine the principles of good governance. We have many loyal South Africans who support various parties in public service, and we should honor them and support their work. These are essential for maintaining public trust, enhancing efficiency of government operations, and preventing corruption and misconduct. Public servants are required to operate within the time framework of laws and regulations established by this government. Compliance ensures that their actions are legal and align with the principles of justice and equality. Ethical training equips public servants with the tools and framework needed to make decisions that are not only legal compliant, but are also morally sound. It helps in creating a culture where ethical considerations are integral to daily operations, guiding public service servants to act in public interest. Training programs that are emphasize ethical behavior can significantly reduce instances of misconduct and corruption. Public servants who understand the ethical implications of their actions are less likely to engage in dishonest or illegal activities. Ethical training promotes a proactive approach to identifying and addressing potential ethical circumstances before they escalate into significant issues. Effective consequence management is essential for sustainable discipline, responsibility, and accountability. We must strengthen our discipline management systems and frameworks to be effective and timely. A robust discipline system ensures that all public servants adhere to organizational policies, standards, and ethical guidelines. A well-structured discipline system ensures that everyone is treated equally and fairly. The consistent application of disciplinary measures helps prevent favorism and bias. A successful compliance system requires clear policies, excellent training, rigorous monitoring, and an integrity-driven culture. The effectiveness of government is also dependent on the form of service provision mechanism. The growing use of information technology to improve the efficiency of government is a critical driver of e-government. The fact that the majority of South Africans has access to technological devices such as cell phones, laptops, and computers, which have internet access, creates opportunities for the government to leverage these communication instruments to improve government service provision. Digital technology is a growing area due to the high levels of innovation, and public service should leverage the potential. The Department of Public Service is responsible for e-government framework, but all state organs have a duty to focus on innovative implications that can enhance basic service provision. For example, the banking sector today is highly digitized, with many having longer periods without visiting a bank branch but using banking services daily. This has improved the quality of banking, but has resulted in drastic decline of bank branches, risking workers' livelihoods. We believe that the deployment of e-governing solutions should be accompanied by reskilling of workers to execute different functions that can be impacted by technology. Another critical element of deploying e-governance solutions is the interoperability of governing ICT systems to enhance information sharing, which has the capacity to improve the efficiency of government. Automation and artificial intelligence create opportunities to improve multiple functions of government, and we need to embrace the change for the better. The budget we are considering for includes support for a critical entity to drive public innovation, the Center for Public Service Innovation. The Center for Public Service Innovation have pioneered various technological solutions such as the health sector and technology related to managing basic services and business portal, popularly known as Biz Portal, support citizens who want to establish enterprises. The Department of Public Service and Administration needs to enhance its partnership with higher education institutions, public and private innovation institutions, and public servants to innovate ways to improve basic service provision. Innovation should be a critical part of the iteration of the theory of change. We need to make measures to protect public data, which is vulnerable to various cyber attacks and from interests which seek to profit from the sale of public data. We must increase funding for innovation in public service across the 3 levels of government. This requires state accounts to also have strong research and development units that can propel innovation, which institutions. The ANC government has prioritized the development of a capable state, which has appropriate skills and capabilities to respond to the complex problems affecting our society. It is for this reason that ANC calls for a skills audit to ensure public service servants with requisite skills are in positions of responsibility. The professionalization framework lays a firm foundation to strengthen our public service towards a meritocratic state that rewards excellence and shuns incompetencies. The government should continue to invest in our human capabilities to empower workers to be productive and impactful. We are confident that in the 7th administration, we will continue to advance an ethical and capable developmental state that places the interests of the people first. A public service which services the elderly, women, youth, persons with disability, and all people living in South Africa in a manner that restores the dignity of the poor and serves all. We want a public service that ensures water provisioning, housing, social support, health, education, and other needs of our people are served. Through this vote, we support a department that focuses on a key driver of the state, the people's public service and the services they provide. I thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
I now invite the Minister of Public Service and Administration to close the debate.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. My final remark, I want to address 2 issues. Firstly, I want to thank all the members who have contributed positively to this debate and who have supported the budget, because for them to do so is their deep appreciation of what we are here about, and that to solve the problem in the public sector, to professionalize, bring back ethics, integrity, is our collective responsibility. And we also appreciate that some of the challenges within the system are not as a result of the fact that public servants, all of them collectively, are these evil people that should be sworn at. Some of these inefficiencies are as a result of some underlying factors, including personal issues that this committee and this parliament and this department should address. It's for that reason that in my debate here, I brought even the issue of trying to assist those abatwasayo nabangena bungoma, because that's part of our culture. And we have to manage that to an extent that it does not interfere with the performance of the state. So I want to thank those members who supported the budget and who contributed positively. The last part, Deputy Speaker, you know, it's very interesting that, okay, better I put it this way. South Africans must now begin to see who has their best interest at heart. For the following reason, in my speech here, I tried to remind members of this House what Tata Madiba said before he voted in 1994, inviting us out of this pessimism, divisive idea. It's true now that in 2024, 30 years after that, we've got people who are still left before 1994, who can stand here in this podium and tell people of this country that this government shall never work. But it doesn't concern
Point of
us.
Honourable
Chairperson.
Minister.
Ngale
there
lu
is a
wrong
point
ngoba
of
uyena
order.
wayithi abantu bagonene njengeyintethe bagonene
Honourable member, could I just,
akakusukela.
honourable member, could I just stop you there? The interpreting services are not active at the moment. So the interpreting services are not active at the moment, so I cannot follow you.
Ukhuluma isibhunu lo wathula ngani? Ongani bekhuluma isibhunu wathula. Mase ngikhuluma umageba sekuyinkinga manje. Ungaze usigangele.
Honourable member, I will have to come back to you later with that. As I have indicated to you, the interpreting services is not active, and I apologize that I could not follow your isiZulu. So thank you. There is another point of order. Yes, honourable member.
Thank you, Chairperson. I raise a point of order in terms of Rule 2 of the rules of the National Assembly. I think earlier the MK colleague was trying to raise the very same thing which we were told about the government of national unity and the statements of intent. Rule 2 is very clear, Chairperson. What are the sources of authority of the National Assembly rules, which is the Constitution, Powers and Privileges Act, Rule of the National Assembly, Joint Rules of Parliament, orders or any binding decision by the National Assembly, directives and guidelines of the Rules Committee, rules by the Speaker and other presiding officers, and any conventions or practices that have been established in the National Assembly by agreement and usage over a period of time. Therefore, Chairperson, can the Minister and any other refrain from referring to statements of intents and government of national unity, because that is not part of our rules. Thank you.
Honourable member, the matter was of the government of national unity was raised earlier. You were not present in the House. I have ruled on that, honourable member, please allow me. And in terms of Rule 92.11, the ruling that I gave is binding. Yes, you can check that. And as well as 92.8. When I have ruled on a matter, it is final and it cannot be repeated against. The same matter cannot be raised again and again.
Chairperson, point of order.
I am still busy.
No, it's
Honourable
not the
member,
same. The
Honourable
minister
member,
is raising
I
the
have
same
not-
thing, speaking in Zulu. Please, I know the rule. He's referring to the same thing, speaking in Zulu.
Honourable
You didn't hear
member.
what he was saying, and the interpretation is not working.
Honourable Mkhwebane, you were not here when another member of the MK raised the previous point, not Honourable Nzimande. It wasn't him who raised it earlier, it was another member. Now, I am very sorry, but I stick to the rules. I have ruled, and you are well aware that the procedure is that you write to the Speaker for it to be referred to the Rules Committee. to deal with the matter. I will not entertain the point of order any further in terms of the rules, as I have ruled already. And if there is anything outstanding, it will be dealt with as the guide to mini plenaries indicate in a similar mini plenary, or it can be taken to the full plenary for a ruling to be made on that. So that is the final order. Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, please conclude.
House
I
Chair,
still have 4 minutes, Deputy
on a
Speaker.
point of order, House Chair.
Where is the point of order now? Yes, Honourable
House
Member.
Chair. You know, the minister has just raised it now using isiZulu. Now,
Honourable
we can understand Zulu.
I have indicated to the Honourable Nzimande that unfortunately the interpreting services are not active right now. I will look into that
But
matter.
we can hear without the interpreter.
I am very sure you can hear. Unfortunately, I cannot. And I would also refer
But
you
we are
to the
telling
fact-
you, you
Honourable Member,
cannot hear, but we are telling you.
Honourable
we
Member,
heard you.
I will go to the Hansards and the official record.
You can't hear, but we heard him.
No, Chairperson.
I know.
So what we are telling you.
Member, I fully appreciate that, but I am now going to stop the matter here. I have ruled in terms of this, and you can then write to the Speaker, but I do also undertake that I will refer to the Hansard with the correct translation, and I will then come back with a ruling in the appropriate forum. Thank you. I will now not take any more further points on this particular matter. I have ruled on that. Is it another point? And please refer to the exact rule that you are referring to. Yes, member at the back.
Thank you so much,
Please.
Honorable Speaker. It's Dr. Managa from the Economic Freedom Fighters. It can't be correct, Honorable Speaker, that
Yes, please.
it cannot be correct, Honorable Speaker, that we don't have the interpreters in the House. Whatever has to be concluded here, you have to refer to the Hansard. It can't be. We cannot allow you to go on in this way.
Honourable member,
Chair.
I fully understand. Could I please, the rules do indicate that you cannot interrupt while I am busy speaking and dealing with a particular rule. The fact of the matter is, regardless of the reason why the interpreting services are not active, and I do not take kindly to the fact that they are not active.
Ndicela uthetha, Chairperson. Ndicela uthetha.
Colleagues,
No, but the same thing happened. Lendo yenzeka
Honourable
ibiyenzeka
member, you are
izolo.
now, let me put it this way, honourable colleagues.
No, but we need fanele si
Honourable
understand into
Felicia.
okubana lento yenzekayo namhlanje
Honourable-
yongabi na interpreters.
Honourable
Na izolo
member,
iyenzekile. So
Honourable-
funeka thina sinyanzelekile into yokuba sithethe isingesi.
I fully
Sinyanzelekile thina uba sithethe
appreciate
isingesi.
your point, but I would expect
No,
of you
but
as
but
honourable
akufanelanga
member-
yenzeke oko. Because yenzekile izolo iyenzeka namhlanje. Into yokokubana thina singakwazi uzi-expressa. Kaloku
Honourable
so
members, order.
makasifumele sithethe languages zethu
Honourable
kaloku yile nto
member,
siyithethayo.
Honourable members, order. This matter has now gone far enough. Honourable Niaus, I'm not going to take your point now. I am still on the floor and ruling.
Sudikwa Chairperson,
Honourable member,
kubungasiva.
honourable member,
Sudikwa Chairperson.
I-
Andicingi into yokuba unalo ilungelo lento yokuba udikwe kusithi
honourable
kuba
member, I will
ungasiva.
not allow you to speak if I have not recognized you. If you are serious about the rules,
Uyasihlukumeza kodwa phina uyazi
serious about the
uyasihlukumeza
rules,
Chairperson.
member.
Hayi
Chairperson,
ukuhlukumeza
then you-
uyasihlukumeza.
Chairperson, I think.
Respect the rules of the
Uyasihlukumeza.
House. I
think-
have already
I think we
told you,
must-
please
Chairperson.
write to the speaker to
Chairperson.
object.
Chairperson, can
Honourable
I
members,
ask? can
I will
ask
not
you-
take any further
No, Chairperson, can
points of order.
it is not a
Member,
point
I
of
have,
order.
member, I have
It's not
not
a point of
recognized
order.
you.
It's not a
I-
point of order.
Then
not a point of order.
I do not recognize you. It is
Chairperson,
within the rules that I
think-
recognize you
I
or not.
think
I'm
you
not
can-
recognizing you now.
You can go as far as you go. 2 points that I want to raise. There are 3 languages that were actually used. It's Afrikaans. There was no interpretation. You never actually intervened on that particular matter. And people who are actually sitting here, it's a violation of the constitution of this country. We are not referring to any rule. I'm referring you to the constitution of this country. That is point number 1. You must acknowledge that English was actually used. The other languages were used. Afrikaans was used. You never actually had a problem with that. Now, when issues are actually tabled in vernacular, which is a constitutional matter, you're actually interfering. That is actually your point of order. And you must actually have respect to our languages. We don't take kind of that. We can't take kind of that. And indeed, we're going to actually take this matter up with your good self, because that actually is segregation to our languages, which are actually enshrined in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights.
Absolutely. Honorable Member, I could not agree with you more. We have 12 official languages, and you were more than welcome to raise a point of order with the Afrikaans.
We must tell you, we don't take kind of that attitude towards our languages.
Now, the attitude is not my attitude. I have informed you.
It's definitely your attitude. We don't take kind. Our languages cannot continue to be subjugated and to be undermined like you are actually doing. You must respect that house. You must be honorable. And we are actually pointing it now. We are actually pointing it now. It can't go on like this, not anymore with our languages.
Honorable. Honorable Niels, my apology. I could not hear. Could you please just repeat that? I could not follow you. Honourable members, I've just been informed there are 3 simultaneous sessions, and Parliament does not have sufficient staff at this particular point to service 3 simultaneous sessions. But I can assure you that I will take this up very seriously, as I fully understand the importance of interpreting and translation, as perhaps for the members' information, that is my field of expertise in my previous career. So I fully understand the importance of multilingualism and respecting all the languages. But we now have a practical problem, and I therefore ask you to respect and indulge the situation. And I will do my utmost that this does not happen again, because it is unacceptable. I will therefore now ask the Honourable Minister to conclude as briefly as possible, so that we can deal with this matter and make sure that there are interpreting services. Thank you. Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. I still have 4 minutes. We are not worried, and we are not going to be shaken. This country is going to be taken forward. We have a commitment to our people. We've got a commitment to our constituencies. And we shall not allow to be derailed, Deputy Speaker, by people who are harboring bitterness because of their poor political judgment. They decided not to be part of rebuilding our country. As a result, they are now in the court. They are screaming outside there. And we are going to track forward, trackers, for whatever, backwards never. What is very interesting, Deputy Speaker, is the following.
Baba Shenge, Baba Shenge, Baba Shenge, sivume. Asivume Nkosi.
Some of these
Ngeke sivume Nkosi, ngeke. Baba Shenge, sivume.
Judgment reviewed thousands of times in their previous career because of the lack of appreciation of the simple things that they think they're expertise of.
Point of order, Chairperson. Point of order. Point of order, Chairperson. Point of order, Chairperson.
Minister, there is a
point of order.
To take a serious
Order, Chairperson, point of order.
Appreciate that.
Chairperson, you can't
sorry
allow
for
that. Down.
Chairperson, no, Chairperson, you can't
I'm
allow
very
the minister
happy.
to behave like this.
I cannot
I have
hear
a
you.
point of order.
Because you
I'm
are
very happy
shouting. Honorable Minister.
Point of order. No, Chairperson.
The national security movement.
With point of order, Chairperson.
Candidates that we must welcome so
order.
that they are taught the
I can't hear
basics
you.
from told you that how do you raise a point of order? As far as the same rules that you are referring to, you must stand up respectfully, so cite the rule that you are standing off. You don't simply throw like a child.
What kind of
Deputy
a
Speaker.
minister is this one? What kind of a minister is this one? This one, respectful. No, with your finger.
Point of order, Chairperson.
Honorable
Deputy
Member,
Speaker,
I cannot hear
people of
you
this
if you
country
are shouting.
must allow us to serve them. And we are going to do so diligently and efficiently.
You are a fourth tracker.
Commitment.
You are a fourth
tracker.
You said you are a fourth tracker. There is a point
We are
of
going to
order here.
effect the change that they themselves are going to be happy about. Very soon, people of this country are going to
Ngihlulile-ke
that
namhlanje
something
ukuthi kanti umdayisi
I can't hear anyone.
I thank the members positively. I also thank those whom I can say
No,
simply
this
wasted
is
our
not
time.
on, Minister.
This
is so wrong. Point of order, Speaker.
Honorable Member. Honorable members, I cannot take points of order if you are shouting because I cannot hear you.
Point of order against you, Speaker.
Please proceed, Honorable Mkhwebane.
Honorable Speaker, in a very respectful manner, I said point of order and raising the issue in terms of Rule 84.
Mhm. Please proceed.
Yes. And you don't conduct the House like that. Hence, the House disintegrated, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Can you call to order? She's
Honourable
not even
members-
a member of Parliament,
Honourable
of the
members-
Assembly. You are, we are,
Honourable
you are an
members
executive.
And
Please
Honorable Member,
respect us.
please address
The
me.
minister is the executive who, when I say point of order, he was supposed to sit down. You didn't, Minister. You continue.
Honorable,
No, I'm
Honorable
addressing the speaker.
Mkhwebane, please
I
address
yes,
the
please.
chair.
protect us.
I would like to listen to you, but I cannot because the members are shouting too much. So it is of no use for me to listen because I cannot hear you. So please proceed, but please, members, allow the honorable member to speak because I cannot hear. Right, thank you very much. I could not hear during the last few minutes of the Honourable Minister's speech, and he could also not hear me because of the noise. We do have to respect one another, Honourable Members. That is why we have points of order, and that is why I will allow points of order, but only if I can hear you. So, Honourable Members, I want to remind you that there are still two debates to follow at 2:00, scheduled simultaneously. The Small Business Development Budget vote that will be held in Committee Room M46, while the Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities Budget vote will be in Committee Room S12A. And that then concludes this debate and the business of this mini plenary session. And the mini plenary will now rise. Thank you.